So Larry said, we want to work with a lot of different groups. We want to work side by side and get behind anyone that we can that will support our mission and our values. One of those groups is Americans for Prosperity. Now, I don't know if you know about this group or not. I've had the opportunity to work side by side with them for the last 4 years. It's a great group. It's a national group. They are going around the nation right now in key battleground states with the Obama Failing Agenda Tour, with a huge bus and rallying people in Ohio and Montana. They're going to those states that we really need to take. And today, we are very fortunate that we have someone from Americans for Prosperity. His name is Arizona State Director. So please welcome Tom. Thank you.
Yeah.
Billy should have given you the full disclosure on that. She's been working with our Montana chapter as well. So, I am Tom Jenney. I'm the Arizona Director of Americans for Prosperity. I am very happy to be here. I'm very grateful to the Central Arizona Tea Party for letting us come and talk to y'all. Some people out there have said, when I go to talk to some Tea Party groups, that I am the father of the Arizona Tea Party movement, which is kind of silly if you think about it, because this is a cat herding operation. There is no one Tea Party. There is certainly no Arizona Tea Party. So, how that happened was, back in 2009, you remember when Rick Santelli got on TV? Remember how he said, we're going to dump tea in the Chicago River. So I saw that on TV, and people sent me the YouTube link, and I thought, oh, that's cool. Whatever. And I kept doing what I was doing, because we were fighting battles down at the state legislature. So I kept getting these emails saying, hey, Tom, are you the guy who is organizing the Arizona Tea Party? Because we're a grassroots group, right? So I figured, okay, And I kind of ignored the emails for a while, but they kept coming. And then I realized, hey, maybe I should say yes. So I started writing people back saying, yes, I am the guy who's organizing it. And then I had to figure out where in the world I was going to throw this Tea Party, because, we're down in Phoenix, and there's no water. So, I know Santelli, he's got the Chicago River, right? Polluted or not, or whatever, it runs backwards. But at least there's water there, right? So I was trying to figure out, where do we go? So we went to Tempe Town Lake. And we didn't throw actual tea in the water. We didn't do that because, that would be environmentally, unnice. So what we ended up doing, though, was we got 150 people there on like 3 days' notice. And I thought, this is interesting, because we used to fight to get 150 people down at the state capitol to pound on these legislators' doors to get them to do something. Suddenly, there's 150 people on 3 days' notice showing up to something. I thought, okay, this is going somewhere. So we ended up throwing the big Tea Party at the Capitol on April 15th. Judy's been helping me the whole time. Judy, the angry right-wing housewife. Thank you. We've got 10,000 people on April 15th, 2009. We got 7,000 people at the stadium in Tempe in 2010. It was a big, exciting time. So it's really fun. Having people come out to events like this, having people come out in big numbers and try to save this country. But I'm about to tell you folks, the whole rest of my message is that we need for y'all not to do so much rallying anymore, at least for a little while. We need you all to be phone banking. And I know you don't want to hear that. How many of you actually like phone banking? I thought I saw one hand out there. Okay, yeah, okay, so maybe two. I see. Well, okay, Judy's cheating because she's phone banking for us, and it is actually fun, which I'm about to explain. But I understand most people don't like it, and I think the main reason people don't like to phone bank is because you don't like failure, right? We're Americans. We don't like to fail, right? That's why we don't. That's why most of us are not happy with Mr. Obama right now. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's why, as Barbara mentioned, we had something called the failingagenda.com. You can find us at failingagenda.com, all about Mr. Obama's failures. So you guys don't like to fail, do you? No. Nobody does. Does anybody know, just throw out the name, does anybody know who in Major League history, Major League Baseball history, had the best career batting average of all time? I heard one back here. Somebody got it. Ty Cobb. Does anybody know what his average was? That's Ted Williams, and that was one season, right? Okay, so Ty Cobb's lifetime average is a 366. That means out of 1,000 balls that came across his plate, he hit only 366 of them. That was pretty darn good, too. And does anybody know what kind of money you make right now in the major leagues if you can bat 300? If you can hit 3 out of the 10 balls that come across the plate? Yeah, more money than all of us in this whole park have put together. They get in 1 year. Yeah, if you're batting 300 in the major leagues right now, you get millions of dollars. Well, if you come phone bank with us, with our Freedom Phone system, you're going to be batting about 300 all day long. And now, there's one way to look at that, which is the glass is 7/10 empty. The other way to look at it is you're batting 300. This is pretty good. Okay, and let me tell you about those 10 calls. Do you get an average of 10 calls coming through? One of the great things about our system is that we are simultaneously calling 10 people. So you don't have to wait around a long time. And we can even do a live demo here, but which we might do if you have enough time. I'll ask Barbara, I'll ask you guys if we actually have time for that. But it's really simple. You start calling people, you don't have to ever hang up. You just sit there with the music, you talk in the computer, you press 1, you press 2, you hit the star button. It's really easy. So let's take an average of 10 people. When the 10 people come through calling through, 5 of them are going to hang up immediately and you will not learn anything about them. You won't know anything. So 5 out of 10 complete strikeouts. Then there's going to be 2 out of those 10 people who are going to be angry or busy and they're going to hang up on you. But you're going to probably be able to figure out what gender they are, which is pretty important information for us. You understand that, right? Baritones and tenors, that's usually, okay. And then, sopranos and altos. It doesn't always work, but for the most part, you can tell what gender these folks are. And we're all postmodern, we don't want to put people in holes, I understand that. Okay, but so you're going to be able to figure out whether those people are male or female, which is very helpful when we go to send them more information. Then out of those 3 remaining people who are going to answer the survey, on average, one of them is going to tell you, it's a 1-question survey, by the way, which people love. So you call up, you say, hey, my name's Tom, I'm a volunteer with Americans for Prosperity, I have one quick question about the Arizona economy. And then, most people hang up. I told you, they won't even hear that. So, but among the 3 people you talk to, on average, the first guy's going to say, okay, I'll answer. And the question you're going to ask is, okay, have President Obama's policies helped or hurt the Arizona economy? Now, we all know the answer, right? Yeah. Okay, so the first guy you talk to is probably going to say, well, he's destroyed the whole economy, not just Arizona's. And, okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Would you like to know more about Americans for Prosperity? And he'll probably say, no, thanks. Have a good day. You know everything you need to know about that guy. We don't actually need to talk to that guy again, ever. Someone else may talk to him, but we're not going to talk to him. And that information goes right back into a database. Because when you're done with that call, the computer's going to say, have Obama's policies help or hurt America? So that's how the computer's going to say, and then you'll put 1 for helped or 2 for hurt. So it's actually 2 for hurt. You'll hit 2 star, and that's all we need to know. That guy doesn't ever hear from us again. The next person you're going to talk to is going to say, you're going to say, same question, have Obama's policies helped or hurt America or Arizona? And the next individual is going to say, well, I think he's really trying hard, and I think they've probably helped. He gave everybody health care, whatever that means. Yeah. That's what that means. Okay, but so now you know everything you need to know about that person. We don't need to talk to that person ever again. Because probably if they're that dense, probably when we take them a door hanger or we call them again or we send someone to their door with an interview tablet, probably we're not going to be able to give them enough information. Maybe if you sat down with them for several weeks and kind of went through Econ 101 and all that, maybe. But for the most part, we know all we need to know about that individual. Then you get the person in the middle, and that's who we really, really, really want to talk to. Because that's the person who goes, you know what, I just don't know. Now, your first inclination is to be angry at that person, right? Right? Because how can they not know? Like, how do they not know? that this guy is ruining this country, that we've had the longest depression in America since the Great Depression, and it's big government that's doing that. How do they not know? Okay, so you're angry at your friends, by the way, and your neighbors and your church members and your coworkers who think this way. I know you are. Okay, so, and so am I. I'm frustrated. Okay, in some weird way, these are actually, in some way, actually really good Americans. They're living their lives. They're doing their jobs. They're going to their churches. They're spending time with their families. They're trying to avoid politics. Americans don't like politics. You guys do, but actually you hate politics. You've driven this because someone is ruining your country. That's why you're here. Most Americans don't like politics. They try to avoid it at all costs. So we have a very, very narrow window to talk to these people. You know why? Because they are actually listening. Right? They try to ignore politics for about 22 months out of every 24 months. And the only reason in some cases that some of these people are going to listen to you or anyone else about politics right now and policy is because their Uncle Ted is going to be over at the house for dinner next Thursday. And Uncle Ted is going to ask them who they're voting for and why. Worse than that, worse than who. Uncle Ted is actually going to ask them why. And so they are right now, in one of the brief moments in their lives, they're actually looking out and trying to find out what in the world's going on. This is a time when we actually talk to, around the country, literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of these people. We called 400,000 of these people last Saturday around the country. We need to talk to these folks. We need to find out who they are. We need to get them back in our database so that we can send them more intense information on what's going on. How many of you care about this election coming up? My job is to push policy, not elections, but since you're interested in the election, I'll ask you some questions. We have 300 million Americans. How many are registered to vote? No, not you, but it's about 170 million. Do you know how many voted last time at the top of the ticket? Voted for either Obama or the other guy? McCain, I know. How many vote at the top of the ticket, or a libertarian? About 138 million. Probably about the same number of people will vote this time. How many of them are actually going to make the difference between who gets elected in terms of actually being in a state where the electoral votes are up for grabs and they're close? Does anybody know roughly how many people in this country who are registered? It's about 8 million. So the future for everybody else is being decided by 8 million people. Do you know how many of those people actually live in Arizona? None. Well, probably. Right now, the pollsters and the people who are looking at this stuff, the people who care about these elections, which is hopefully all of us, they understand right now that Arizona's not in play. So there are battleground states where all this stuff is happening. So what we're encouraging people to do is educate people who need to be educated. So we need you all to go out and phone bank. And we need you to start doing it really, really quickly. And we're going to make it as fun as possible. When Larry and Barbara throw a Central Arizona party, a Tea Party phone bank, or set up an office or do it in someone's home, we're going to bring food to you. We'll drop money on you if it takes that. If we need to rent a space with you guys, we'll do whatever it takes. We'll drop cell phones on you. If you've got unlimited minutes, it doesn't matter. They can't see your phone number. You can't see theirs. It's a nice private kind of a thing. We would love to work with you guys to do phone bank any way we can. And that's all I have to say.